Good morning, cadets. We have been discussing the question papers of UPSC examination, and this week we have taken up question paper of the year 2009, and this is question paper of second UPSC NDA examination of GAT English. That's a part A of GAT examination. So we have already discussed 24 questions of this question paper, and let's take up the remaining questions. In today's session, a few more questions we'll take up. At first, we'll discuss the questions of spotting errors. Now there are 8 questions, so 8 items means 8 questions on spotting errors. Each question carries 4 marks. So this question will be for 32 marks. So a number of sentences are given in this section, and these sentences are underlined in 3 separate parts. Each one is labeled A, B, and C. So read each sentence to find out whether there is an error in any underlined part. If there is no error, then D, that's a no error. So A, B, C, D, you have to find out the error in any of these labeled parts. Okay, if there is an error, that is the option or that is the answer. So we'll take up the questions in this section. So shall we start now? Let's start the questions. One example is also given there, and this is the same example which appears every time. So here the young child singed. You know what is the past tense of sing? That is sang, not singed. So naturally the answer will be sang there. So B is the right answer. We worked very hard throughout the season. So there is no error there. So the right answer will be D there. Okay, fine. So let's go to the first example here. Question number 25 here. So inflation and shortages have made it very difficult for him to make his both ends meet. No error. So here, now you have to find out the error. So where is the error there? Are you able to find out? Think of that. Inflation and shortages, that is the A part, have made it very difficult for him to make his both ends meet. Now here, to make his both ends meet, there is an error. So what is the idiom? Right idiom. Right idiom is to make ends meet or make ends meet. What does it mean? It means earn just enough money to live on, to survive. Earn enough money. So earn enough money to survive. Now inflation, that's price rise and shortages have made it very difficult for him to make both ends meet. So his is inappropriate. So should not be used his. So therefore there is an error in C part. So let's go to the next question now. Let us discuss some more examples of spotting the errors. So question number 26 now. The most studious boy in the class was made as the captain. No error. It all appears that there is no error. The most studious boy in the class, A and B, no errors, was made as the captain. After made, there is no need of as. Was made the captain. The most studious boy in the class was made the captain. No need of as. So if it is not required, then what will be the answer? Answer will be C. Option C is the right one. Was made the captain. Let's go to the next. Question number 27. I am participating in the 2 miles race tomorrow morning. No error. Now I am participating. Absolutely correct. You will feel that there is an error in B, and that's right. In the 2-mile race, 2-year-old child, you must be familiar with that. 2-year-old child, you must have come across. 2-year-old child. Now 2-mile race of 2 miles, that is correct. But before that, if it comes, then in that case, you should not use plural form. You have to use singular form. So it becomes 2 mile race. Like here, 2-year-old child. You got it now? So it must be 2 mile race. Okay, so the error is in B. And this kind of example again and again gets repeated in the examination. Let's go to the next one now. The sum and substance of his speech were essentially anti-establishment. Now here, let's see here the sum and substance. Now the sum and substance of his speech, after that what should come? Now here bread and butter, cornflakes and milk. Now here there are two singular nouns and here they are connected by and. But what is happening here when we are saying like this? We are saying it what? Here sum and substance of his speech. We are referring to same thing. Sum and substance of his speech. When you are referring to same thing, then in that case you have to use singular verb. Like here one example which you have seen earlier, cornflakes and milk is our Sunday breakfast. Cornflakes and milk is our Sunday breakfast. If you use cup and saucer, bread and butter, cornflakes and milk, then you will be using singular verb. Because here what happens? Here subject is treated as a singular. So therefore, here the verb should be was and not were. Now let us discuss question number 29. It has been such a wonderful evening. I look forward to meet you again after the vacations. It has been such a wonderful evening. A, that is correct. Let's go to B and C. I look forward to meet you again and C is after the vacations. The question may come whether vacations is correct or wrong. Now I look forward to meet you again. It all appears correct. But remember what the rule says. Whenever we use look forward to, whenever this phrasal verb comes, whenever this phrase comes, then what should be used after that? ing form should be followed. So look forward to meeting you. So B is wrong. So there is an error in B. I look forward to meeting you. This example again and again is repeated. Look forward to meeting you. It is exceptional. These are all very few cases we use ing form. Otherwise, what do we do? Whenever infinitive comes, we always use base form of the verb, that is meet. But here after to what should be used? ing form should be used. So the right phrase will be look forward to meeting you again. So you got it? It has been such a wonderful evening. I look forward to meeting you again after the vacations. Let's go to question number 30. When the boy committed a mistake, the teacher made him to do the sum again. When the boy committed a mistake, you commit a mistake, you make a mistake or you commit a mistake, nothing wrong. So when the boy committed a mistake, the teacher made him to do the sum again. Think over it. Now here the teacher made him do the sum again. Made him do the sum again. So made him the captain, made him do the sum again. There is no need of what? Infinitive to. So it has to be the teacher made him do the sum again. You got it now? After made, what should not come? Infinitive to should not come. Question number 31. Unless the government does not revise its policy of liberalization, the growth of the indigenous technology will be adversely affected. No error. Now let's just take up the first one, that is A. unless the government does not revise its policy of liberalization. Remember here, unless is there, does not revise is there. Unless is negative, does not revise, that is also negative. We cannot use two negatives here. So what should be there? Unless the government revises, we should not use does not. Unless the government revises its policy of liberalization, the growth of the indigenous technology will be adversely affected. That is the right sentence. So there is an error in A. Option A is the correct answer. So what, remember here, whenever unless comes, it will be always followed by the positive sentence. It will be always followed by the positive connotation, not the negative one. So unless, because it is negative, therefore you cannot use one more negative in that clause. Okay. So you got it. Right answer is A. Unless the government revises its a policy of liberalization. Right. Let's move on to the next question. Supposing if you get a seat in the plane, you will not take more than 2 hours to reach Mumbai. Supposing and if. You cannot use both together. So supposing if. So you should avoid supposing. Avoid suppose because you assume that, you suppose that, it's a supposition that is the meaning of the word supposing. So here both have got similar kind of meaning here. So therefore supposing you get. So instead of that, avoid using supposing, use only if. If you get a seat in the plane, this is in simple present tense. Next it will be simple future tense. You will not take more than 2 hours to reach Mumbai. So we have seen here in the case of question number 29, look forward to meeting you again. Then 38, when the boy committed a mistake, the teacher made him do the sum again. So B is the answer here, that there is a mistake here. The teacher made him do the sum again. Instead of that, 2 is used there. So infinitive 2 will not come there. Then in the case of 31st one, unless the government does not revise its policy, we have seen that 2 negatives will not come. So here it has to be only unless the government revises. And 32nd, supposing if you get a seat in the plane, you will not take more than 2 hours to reach Mumbai. So what should be there? Only if should be there. Supposing should not be used there. So here A is the right answer. So supposing should not be there and only if should be there. Now we will take up the questions on comprehension passage. The first comprehension passage we have seen so far, spotting the errors. Now let us take up the question on comprehension passage. No doubt the Green Revolution has led to self-sufficiency in food production, but it has also brought with it the formidable problem of poisoning of food grains and other eatables. This is caused by excessive use of chemicals on crops and pesticides residues. It has also created havoc by exterminating the species of useful parasites and viruses, which keep pests under control. Scientists are now worried about the resurgence of such formidable pests in menacing proportions, which seem to undermine all that they have achieved in agricultural production. So now go through this passage and let's see the first question. From the reading of the passage, which one of these statements do you think is correct? The Green Revolution has solved all problems in agriculture. You can eliminate because it's not that it has solved all problems. There are a lot of problems. What is it? It has destroyed many useful parasites. I think it's quite clear. So eliminate that. Application of chemicals has resulted in everlasting preservation of gains. Okay, that also is not there. So the Green Revolution is a mixed blessing. Yes, it's a mixed blessing because there has been yes, increase in food production, self-sufficiency in food production, but it has brought with the formidable problem of poisoning of food grains. So here, mixed blessing. Scientists are satisfied with achievements in agriculture production. Well, C is the right answer here. The Green Revolution is a mixed blessing. Okay, because it has destroyed many useful parasites, species of useful parasites and viruses. So it has created havoc also. So that's why it's a mixed one. It's a mixed blessing. So therefore, we'll go to the question number 34 now. C is the right answer in the case of 33. So shall we go to question number 34? Okay, let's see here. Question number 34. The statement that the Green Revolution has also created havoc. Yes, what is it now? Question number 34. The statement that the Green Revolution has also created havoc by exterminating means what? Destroying the species of useful parasites and viruses. Keep pace under control. All parasites and viruses keep pace under control. Pesticides and chemicals kill parasites and viruses. Well, it is related to that statement, so there is no need for us to go to the passage. Pesticides and chemicals kill parasites and viruses which control pests. The pests are controlled by parasites or application of chemicals to grains has created havoc. So what is the answer for this? Question number 34. Yes. Now here the Green Revolution has also created havoc by exterminating the species of useful parasites and viruses. So what has happened? These pesticides and chemicals, what? They kill parasites and viruses which control pests. So those which are quite useful, those also have been killed. So B is the right answer here. Pesticides and chemicals kill parasites and viruses which control pests. So which have been very useful to control pests. They have been, yes, they have killed those parasites, useful ones. Right. So let's go to the next question number 35. We'll see the passage also. Which one of the following statements best reflects the underlying implications of the passage? So go through the question now. So man's effort to control nature to his advantage has always created unseen dangers side by side. Research in one area leads to challenge for further research in the same field. At present, research in preservation of agriculture production is at a crossroads. The excessive use of chemicals and pesticides is dangerous. So think over that. Question number 35. So definitely the answer is excessive use of chemicals and pesticides. That is quite dangerous. Yes, excessive use of. So third line. This is caused by excessive use of chemicals on crops. Because what has happened, it has brought the havoc. And where do we find its answer? You will find its answer in third. Yes, third line. Because it has brought with it the formidable problem of poisoning of food grains. So it has caused excessive use of chemicals on crops and pesticides residues. So the right answer will be question yes D here in the case of 35. So let's go to now 36. Which one of these phrases best helps to bring out the precise meaning of menacing proportions? So menace, danger. So menacing proportions. So here, let's see the options here. To an extent which becomes threatening, assuming dimensions that cause concern, unimagined, dangerous proportion, harmful size. So here you have to look for exact meaning of the phrase menacing proportions. So proportions to the extent that becomes threatening. So which will be the right answer? Yes, A option will be the right option. A option will be the correct one. To an extent which becomes threatening, menacing proportions, threatening proportions, to the extent of threatening, that is going to threaten that. Yes, I hope you understood. We have seen number of examples of spotting the errors and one passage, comprehension passage. Thank you. Goodbye.